Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite stocks, or rather than just all-time, at least in the immediate future. This is one that I have in the next 2 to 5 years as part of my huge plan. But the reason I'm leading with GameStop up here on my screen is because I just want to showcase some of the insanity that is currently going on in the stock market. You see a stock drop $153, and you see it's down 45%, and after hours it's up currently $70 or another 36.36%. And I want to highlight that this is not trading, this is not investing, it's simply gambling, and you're betting against someone else's short interest. And as you can see, it's actually currently, or as of 115, 121% of the stock, which has led us on this crazy endeavor. However, I want to highlight that, again, this is a market that is not a slot machine, but rather it is a wealth fund that you yourself have to go and build. And yes, you can speculate. I highly encourage speculating, but there's still a lot of winners that are in the market right now, and they went on sale over the past 2 days. And I want to highlight that by, again, we're looking at the overall market, not necessarily just some of these headline stocks. When we look at the same market that we were looking at yesterday, again, I said that this entered us into a buying opportunity, and this was the first significant red day that we've had in a while, and you can still see that, again, we kind of broke even. I think that we do have the potential for more breakouts ahead of us, for more setbacks ahead of us, but you can see that, again, we're kind of trading downwards. I'm going to look at the 5-day. We came up, we came back down, but yesterday was ugly. We had some overnight trading that turned ugly, and then we kind of gapped up to start the day. So this was not a fun time period over the past 2 days. Again, my portfolio took quite a beating. This is something we've been talking about in the chat, but I think that this has finally presented us with a solid opportunity to buy stocks. Again, I want to highlight kind of the 1 month average here. Let's look at the 3 months, where again we've just had up, and we're finally getting some time period where on some of these high flyers we can actually purchase the stocks. And one of the ones that I'm heavily looking at is going to be STPK, and that is Star Peak Energy Transition Corp. This is one that I didn't cover upon its debut just because there was a lot of content on YouTube. But this is one that my first buying came in at $32 a share, and today I purchased some more for around the $26.50 mark. And this is a stock that I am incredibly bullish on. You can see it was in the SPAC world up until they announced their acquisition, and they have continued to go up and up. And I think that if you can get in under $30 a share, this is an excellent opportunity to do so. Again, this is just the SPAC. The company is actually going to be STEM Inc. And to talk about them, I am going to go into the actual company. But I just want to highlight again some of the company information is going to be available here on TD Ameritrade, but today we're actually going to talk about what the company is and what they do and the investment thesis behind them. So this is STEM Inc., and this is a electric, a battery maker, a AI user. They've got a little bit of everything, and again, it's a really cool company. And this is an industry that fundamentally I don't wholly understand. I am going to lead off by admitting some of my ignorance in this. But the important thing is this is a way that they are using proprietary software to effectively manage energy costs and change when they're using something, when they're changing something. And they've got some really cool battery storage associated with it. So this is their website. This is their information. You can see some of their big customers here. And then they've got some info down below. Just to highlight some of their solutions, the big thing that you're looking at here is they're big on the C&I side, but I just want to showcase some of their solar information because they're heavily involved in this. And again, they've got this idea that essentially you're going to be able to more effectively utilize the solar capabilities you already have, which is going to effectively, again, kind of using some of their hey, we're awesome type of stuff, increase your margins and bring more value. The big thing that they're well known for is, again, their software behind it, and again, their capability to utilize effective cost management to make more money. The reason why this is such a big deal for them right now is because they're looking to utilize the catalysts that are expected to come from this new, I don't want to say world order, but the new transition with the Biden administration is projected to utilize this information accordingly. The big thing that I want to highlight that we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at what the company does and what they're looking to do going forward with this injection of capital. Because again, we don't want them to just go public to bring in money. We want to see what they're going to use their money. So you can see right here again, all STEM shareholders will roll 100% of their equity holding into the new company. I like this because again, it means that if you are a current holder, they're private. So that means if management is a current holder, they're going to be heavily incentivized to make the company do better going forward. And right now you can see that they're raising $383 million held in cash. And then the other side of that is $225 million in PIPE funding. What this means is that you essentially have a group of people who are willing to purchase additional shares at that $10 per share mark. So that wholeheartedly leaves you up to $608 million. And again, at this time they were put in, it was right at 1.35 billion. I think now it's like 2.2 billion because the stock has continued to go up. But again, there is a lot to do. So what we're going to be looking at today is their Analyst Day presentation. So I'm going to dive into that now. So this is the Analyst Day presentation. Keep in mind as we're going through this process that this is marketing material that is presented by STEM Inc. It is designed to showcase them in the best light possible. So make sure that what you see today is the opinions expressed by the company, and what you hear from me is simply just my analysis over it. I heavily encourage you to do your own due diligence as I am not a financial advisor. And that's what these slides say and stuff as well. So what I'm looking at is they have an incredible group of people who are running the company. You can see this group here. A lot of this team is very familiar with building successful companies. So we've got a general marketing manager from GE. You've also got a series of people who are or were involved in Solar Edge company, and they are going to carry this company forward. I believe, although don't quote me on this, I had this noted somewhere, that's John Carrington, who was involved with Solar Edge and previously at GE. But these are people who have effective management experience, and because of that, they are going to carry, again, this is one of my favorite parts right here, they're going to carry their equity forward into the next company. So this is an advantage that I definitely see them having, and again, you're going to see some of this come from the STEM team who's currently been leading them, and some coming from the SPAC team, again, providing some additional expertise and opinions. So this is just some of the stuff they're talking about. Again, not anything too crazy that I am excited about here. Just shows what they do. Again, this presentation is available online if you would like to do more in-depth reading. I just want to showcase the fact that, hey, they are heavily involved in these different industries. They've got a lot going here. Their big stuff is energy storage, the technology associated with that. So be focusing on these two. So this is the big pitch right here. Again, there's a lot going on in the world right now. How can we help? Personally, I don't think a lot of companies are making their business decision off of this slide. Rather, what they're doing is they are going out and they are effectively utilizing this so that they can go and use it for focusing on the transition team. Again, there's a lot of expectations that there's going to be reductions going forward, and a lot of companies are being told, hey, you need to cut that output. And that's the expectation here. So again, a lot of this information is available here. This is what I want to showcase right here. This is a company that is currently utilizing or owning and dominating the market because they have a software platform that is run concurrently with their battery storage system. So what they're essentially able to do is they are storing all of this energy, and they're using their software to say when to have access to it, when not to, how much, and kind of limiting some of that. It's almost like it is automatically pressing down the gas if you were in the car, or letting up. So it has a lot of that facilitation already being taken care of. They do have this first mover advantage down here that I want to really highlight. The first mover advantage is huge. They have a lot of competitors in various spaces, but the fact that their AI platform is going to be able to carry them forward is incredibly good. The other thing that I'm wanting to see, and this is something that's going to be a recurring theme throughout this, is they just raised $500 million. Are they going to be able to execute using this money? So I'm hopeful that that continues to be a key functionality of the business, is execution, execution, execution. So I'm a big fan of that, and that's one of the things that we'll be looking at. Their Athena software is the big deal for them. Again, you can see some of their information here on the screen. So in terms of the commitment to decarbonization, which again, a lot of the regulatory agencies are encouraging and a lot of the corporations are saying they want to do, is they are right there in the smack dab middle of it, and they have the capability to utilize a lot of that information. So that's what we're going to be looking at going forward. Again, the big thing that I want to talk about is some of the opportunities here. Again, we're going to continue to just go through some of these slides. But the big thing is, hey, what is the potential growth? This is the number why I'm saying, hey, be careful about when we're looking at this. Is this truly a 25x growth opportunity? Well, they're talking about something going forward that we have really no idea about this or what technology is going to look like. So I just want to highlight, I don't really know if that is actually going to be the case going forward. So we're going to continue to go down here, and I just want to highlight some of their information farther along. Here's the software platform. Feel free to run through that and to evaluate it. Again, the big thing is it essentially makes the process more efficient, more effective. That's the key. I'm not going to necessarily go into the more in-depth side of it, but more efficient, more effective, and it tells you how using their dashboard reporting. So we're going to continue to go down here, and I really want to focus on, again, some of their customers. They're over here on the right-hand side. They work with some big ones. But the big thing that I want to talk about is their balance sheet and the capabilities going forward. So balance sheet, income statement. They have $500 million. How are they going to use it? So they want to expand geographically. That makes sense. Again, they want to be involved in more markets. They also want to work joint venture opportunities with other companies or even governments. So I think there's capabilities there. They're going to use this cash to, again, expand their capabilities with their software. So a lot of capabilities, a lot of cash to use it. They also currently do not have any debt, which I think is incredible for a company this size, that they're able to capably join that and utilize that going forward. Again, just talks about some of the leadership capabilities here. More than welcome to go forward with that. So again, now we're talking into the financial forecast. So I think that this is a really cool thing going forward and something to talk about. So I'm going to look at this here on the website, is where are they getting their margins and how is this going to benefit them? The big thing is they are currently, the big cost center is going to be the hardware. This is the implementation. The idea is that both of these items over here in terms of the software and market participation is that this is where you're going to get the recurring revenue. This is where software companies trade at such a high multiple. So that's how you could generate or justify some of the sky high valuations a company like this is going to produce. So this is something that I think there's going to be the big value add for long term. So you can see kind of the idea behind this is the very first time you install, you get a lot of that money up front. And then from ongoing, you're going to get that recurring software fee, and then any variable costs associated with this. I imagine that's upselling and what have you. You can see some of the bookings growth and expectations. Again, these are made up numbers with some idea of judgment behind them. This is a lot of growth going forward. You can see that the idea for 2020 was to have deliveries of 81 megawatt hours, whatever that means. However, that coordinates or correlates rather to 33 million in total revenue. So for 2021, they're expected to have a huge number here of 147 million in that revenue. And that's what we're going to be looking at, not necessarily the bookings, but the revenue. So if we're justifying that, then what we would be looking for there would be a valuation there, if we're looking from a sales perspective, of right at 20x. So I'm interested to see what that means from a market perspective. I need to look a little bit deeper into the software. But you can see, again, a lot of capabilities. The big thing for a company like this, where there's a lot riding high about them, is going to be diving into the capabilities of the execution associated with it. Again, revenue growth, a lot of expectations going forward, a lot of margins going forward. This is a huge deal, a lot of capabilities. The big thing that we want to look at here, again, the growth going forward, the bookings here. 145 is a big deal. I want this revenue. 33 to 147 is a huge number. Again, you can see year over year growth, 348%. How are they going to achieve that? Again, this is what I want to see. Are they able to execute on this huge adjustment going forward? Something that has changed from the time this report was presented to farther out is the fact that they've actually forecasted up going forward the capabilities of the company to deliver, and they said they're expecting more sales than the number right here. We'll see some of that again coming forward next time. From a long-term perspective, the reason why this is a big deal is, again, we're talking about some of their earnings after earnings right now. You've got a company like Microsoft in the software space. I won't even talk about someone like a Tesla that trades at the scene. But if you're talking about earnings right here, we'll call it 400 just because this isn't an exact earnings after tax. But we call that 400 trading at 40 times. You're talking about a $40 billion company, and the stock price has that potential in the next 5 years to essentially become a $40 billion company. Again, I really like the company for long-term support. A lot of cool stuff going on in terms of who they're working with, who they're going against. They're involved in a lot of different areas. Again, the diversified energy tech is really more so coming from the battery side. So again, a lot of this benchmarking stuff that they talk about here, it's all made up numbers in my humble opinion, although I'm interested to see how they do going forward. The valuation, this is not made up numbers, although you can see at the time of this report, there's a discount. We're still higher than that, although it has dropped, and I think that some of that capability is there. It's also led me to want to go check out SunPower, Bloom Energy, although again, since this report was created, there's been pretty big changes associated with it. So again, this is the comment I just made earlier from a valuation perspective, is we're trading at 0.9x 2025 earnings. And again, this is a long-term hold. This is a company that could be a $40 billion company. And again, if you're 5x of 2025 earnings, then you're a $250 stock. So we'll see. Again, it all depends on the execution. We're talking about that premium. So they have a lot going for them. There's a lot of value associated with it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is, again, we see the capability here, was the money on the balance sheet. So I'm going to go down here. You can see the numbers from 2029. They were not profitable, 2019, sorry. But in 2020, they were, per the information up above. Again, this is 2019 GAAP statement, 2020 numbers. They said that they're profitable. It'll be interesting to see that first filing. However, they are going to have cash on hand. They've got a lot of the property, plant, and equipment. A lot of the assets are already taken care of. The big thing that I want to highlight is if you look at some of the liabilities down here, they do not have any debt, and that is a huge deal going forward if they're able to continue to maintain that type of position. Again, generally speaking, you will not be in that type of situation. But if we look at the cash flow, 2019, not so great. 2020, they did have that money capability. They were profitable, and that's the big reason I like them, is to have that profitability going forward. So what do I think of StarPeak Energy Transition Corp? I think that they are going to be an excellent vehicle to take STEM Inc. public, and I'm really excited to see how the company does, and I'm looking forward to being a long-term investor. Again, this is my 2 to 5 year plan. I anticipate continuing to build a position. I bought more shares today. I mentioned that in the Discord, and feel free to join that Discord so you can see what we're buying and when we are making that encouragement, but I will continue to be in this company. So thank you for watching this video today. I know it was a little bit longer than it normally is. If you found this content helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.